Hey everyone, fantasy playoffs are here. If you're looking for fantasy football advice, look no further. Are you wondering who you should pick up off the waiver wire this week?
Or maybe you can't decide who to start and sit this week. Well, stay tuned. We got all the info you need to dominate your leagues.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Encinas Unfiltered. We are informed, unfiltered, and unmatched. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. As a reminder, you can join our membership program through YouTube. So we have a promotion, and we keep promoting it every week for 99 cents until February. February, it's gone. The Founders Edition is available. That gives you our Legendary membership for 99 cents. You'll have early access to our episodes, early access to our shorts, and you'll even be able to become a member of our Discord, which in the Discord, we're looking at betting, we're doing one-on-one fantasy advice, and it's just a general site where you basically have access to everybody who either is on the show or from the show or other members of the community who are heavy fantasy football related. But not only fantasy football, we got MMA, boxing, football, basketball, baseball, you name it. We talk about everything on there, even video games. So,
And you get to watch me cat out on there too.
oh,
It's always a
and
good time.
you absolutely see more behind the scenes of X on our Discord. And that's the way I would put that. It's very
Keyboard's on
unfiltered.
fire by the time I'm done.
Yeah, he's very unfiltered. It's a great time, and I definitely recommend it. If you're interested in merch, you can click the link in our description. It's getting pretty tight for the Christmas orders now, but if you still want to, you can go ahead and click the link in our description, and you'll see our merch website and what we have to offer, and you can go ahead and buy it there very, very soon. And I promise I'm going to connect our merch store to our YouTube directly, so you'll just be able to buy it directly from YouTube, and you won't have to worry about going through all these different links. So that is on the docket. So another thing, we kind of talked about it last week a little bit, but I had an idea to have the community help us design some shirts. So I'm going to have two designs. We're going to have a winner, so your fantasy football league winner, and your fantasy football league loser, whether it's the toilet bowl, some people do the unicorn like ESPN back in the day, the pink shirt, whatever it is. If you want to send me your sketches, you can DM me on IG or whatever it is, social media that you use, or you can go to our posts on YouTube and post them there. I'm going to put a big vote out, and whatever gets the most votes is what we're going to make for the winner shirt, and for the loser shirt, I'm going to make that available for purchase. So I thought that'd be kind of cool, something special, and we won't have a lot of them available. So it'll be very limited stock. As a reminder, we still got Fantasy Royale. So we're in week 15. There still has not been a team that's won that bounty. So someone has not picked all the games. It is 100% free. It's an NFL pick'em style tournament. You get them all right, you win $1,000 cash. If you don't get all the games correct, but you have the most guessed teams, then you'll win a $100 gift card to Homage. And people who don't know what Homage is think about like a retro style sports clothing brand for your team. So it's not only football, it's baseball, basketball, you name it, they have it. It's a pretty cool website. I definitely check that out as well. You can also go to the link in the description to enter that as well. And on YouTube, it'll be a link right up here. It'll have a click. You can click it directly from the video and you'll be able to go ahead and enter. It takes 30 seconds. It's absolutely free. There's really no reason not to do it, but you must be 18 years or older, maybe 21. Don't quote me. But for sure, I know you for sure got to be over 18. So next order of business. First off, I want to say to those of you who made fantasy football playoffs, congratulations. It's not very easy to do depending on how your league's set up, especially in those 14-man leagues, 12-man leagues that you're in.
We made it, boys. We made it.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate, and this is not to just like hype myself up, but I think this is the first time in a long time where I made fantasy playoffs in like all my leagues, but very slim. I will say that, barely. It wasn't like first place by any means, but congratulations. Now is to the next step of fantasy football, and this is where it gets very challenging. There's no more bye weeks. It's going to get tough. Everyone's mostly available unless people are out for the year. So you're really going to have to lock in and do your research and start the best players who have the best matchup. Because just because you have a star player, if you're playing a really good defense, it might not be a good idea to start them this week.
There is no more room for errors. If you got question marks on anybody, this is not the time at all.
Yeah,
it's one and done, boys.
You're going to be very careful of those big boom or bust risk. Unless you're projected to lose by a lot, then I understand, but you really kind of want to focus on having those best matchups and kind of riding with your players. Those players got you to the show, so use them if you can. And also, I want to address to those who didn't make the fantasy football playoffs. It's okay. It happens. X has done it. I've done it. It's normal, and especially if you're new, even vet players. And honestly, a lot of it could be injuries. It could be luck, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. If you're in a league where you can still get top score and win money, hey, still keep trying until the very end. If you're in a league that does last place punishment, hey, keep trying until the very end. Or if you're in a league where it doesn't matter no more, hopefully your commissioner will lock it on down. But for those of you who didn't make it, it's okay. There's always next year.
Yep.
At the end of the day, this is luck. But
majority of it is luck.
I mean, honestly, if you have a
your
healthy
team being
and
healthy,
luck.
your team being consistent, and your waiver wire pickups were good. It happens to everybody. Don't get down on yourself. Don't get discouraged. When you start off 1-3 and you're already cursing fantasy football, we've all been there.
Yes.
All been there.
Yes. But I do want to, this is like a promotion of sorts, is I want to let you guys know ahead of time that you can check out our fantasy draft episode in August of 2026. That's probably most likely when we'll be doing it. So we come out with a big board. We do mock drafts. We, give our rankings and kind of help you guys kind of gauge of what it's going to look like this year. I mean, I think it mostly helps newer players. I think vet players kind of already have a general idea of how they're going to do it. But we can kind of help structure and guide you towards how you should maybe draft or
and even for vet players, I mean, it's always good to get a little bit of confirmation if maybe you're on the fence about somebody, like, where do I take this guy? Maybe here, maybe there. Sometimes it's good to just get another vet player's perspective on it and have them kind of confirm what it is you're looking at, or maybe get you to kind of think a little bit outside the box of maybe, I think this guy should go here. Rod thinks this guy should go here. And you're like completely out of the ballpark. Like, bro, like, why are you drafting that dude there? Just something to kind of stir it up. More voices, a little better.
Right. And, at the end of the day, the point of this podcast is, it's for fun. I enjoy doing it. X enjoys doing it. But at the same time, it's here to educate the public. We might not have the best takes. We might not be 100% correct. Nobody is. Even the experts at some of the bigger networks.
The experts.
Right.
None of them are.
But this is just another resource that you can use to maybe help you have that next competitive edge. I'm really happy. I won't say names, but somebody that I know, I'll just say at work, happened to stumble upon our Instagram and actually take a look at our waiver wires and our positional rankings week to week. And they went from not making playoffs last year to being like top 2, top 3 this year in their fantasy league. So
perfect.
Nice. That's, in our work league. So I really do like that. And that makes me feel good, because it's like, I'm not completely clueless when it comes to this stuff, but at the end of the day,
hey, some weeks it feels like it, man.
I mean, for sure. A lot of the time, I mean, honestly, it's just stupid luck, but it feels good knowing that we provide a resource for those players, especially like one of the comments I got was like, well, why are you helping other people when they're in your league? And it's like, well, it's not about that, because if this person asked me for advice, I'd tell them the same thing. I'm not going to be mischievous about them and give them misleading advice. Like, at the end of the day, we're here to help people. We're not here to be like, oh, you should definitely start Lamar, knowing that he has a bad matchup. It's like, no, we're going to say, hey, we might not like that matchup. Maybe you should consider Joe Burrow this week. Like, just an example. And I mean, that's what we're going to do.
Like I'm very competitive. I get very passionate about everything, believe it or not. I know this is blowing people's minds there, but really the main thing about it though is like, this is for fun. Okay. Right. Like, I don't like to lose. If you're competitive, if you've won ever in your life, you like to win. So obviously we're not going to be giving out bad information. We're not going to be doing those types of things. Even if it's people that we play with, there's people even this year in the leagues that have hit me up in a league that I play against these people. And they're like, hey bro, what do you think about this trade? Hey, I'm on the fence about these 2 wide receivers to start. Who do you think I should start? I've gotten multiple of those. And I have no problem. We all love to win, but at the end of the day, we're here to help. If anybody asks me those questions in leagues and stuff like that, bro, I like to have a challenge. You're not gonna sharpen iron with a piece of paper. You only get better if you play against people that are better. So if you are in a league with a lot of experienced players that are just dominating you, stay in that league. That's how you get better. You start to see how all these other people start to do things. And I am all for educating people. I'm all for helping. I'm always open to being educated too about any of this. So that's why getting those questions, and it's good. It's what you should be looking for in a league, to where everybody in the league feels comfortable to talk about things, work it out, whatever the case may be. The one thing that you don't want to be is closed-minded and have that type of mentality where you want to give everybody wrong information. You want everybody to look bad so you look better. If you're doing that, you're playing fantasy football for the wrong reason. This is a game. This is something that you're supposed to be having fun with and being entertained by. And you
Right.
and the boys, you and the other people in the league are just here having a good time, being competitive, having other NFL fans get together, have a good time about the sport that they love.
Exactly. And just a reminder, we do that episode in August. So look for the 2026 fantasy football draft episode around August sometime. I don't know who's all going to be involved with that, but I know for sure it'll be X and I, and we'll have rankings and charts and lists, and it'll be a long one, but it'll be good resource materials, the way I put it. But of course, at the end of the day, everything comes down to luck. So, you can go to 10 different sites and they might all say something different, but there's still similarities along the way.
But just know
But
that
before we
this podcast is the one that's going to give you the right information.
we would like to think. We would like to think.
But it is good though. It is good to hear that other people are actually, listening to this and getting good stuff
Right.
happening, because then at the same time too, it makes us feel like the work that we put in, taking time out of our days to do these type of things,
Right.
it makes it feel worth it to know that people are benefiting from what it is that we're talking about. And, also we're not just crazy. So,
Right. And I think people too might say, "Oh, well, they're monetized, they're partners." I'm like, I promise you, like, I've spent way more money than I'm probably going to make in the next few years off of this. This is definitely a hobby that I'm thankful that X comes on and helps me to do this, and those who have come on in the past that helped me to do this. It's definitely not easy, and there's a lot of late nights, but I think for the passion and for the love of fantasy football, it's worth it, and it's a lot of fun. And
yep.
that's why I'm so focused on community driving the show, so that it'll just continue to get better and better. And I think that it also will help bring on maybe fresh faces, maybe people we don't know, and people, it's going to be different. I think it'll be fun. And that would
Mhm.
be as the years keep going. But really quickly, before we go to our NFL recap, I just wanted to go over some fantasy football etiquette. This is for both new and old players. And these are just some things that I think you should think about, especially with week 15 coming along. Usually that's the start of fantasy football playoffs. So you usually do week 15, 16, 17. You usually don't do week 18. I remember in some of my newer leagues where we played the last week, but usually you don't want to do that because teams are already usually
Yep.
set. Starters don't play. It's just not worth it. Even week 17 can be risky as well, depending on the landscape of the playoffs. It just depends. I think this
Yeah.
year they'll be okay, but just in general, usually teams won't play their
So
starters and they'll rest.
do know too that these etiquettes that we give you, these are things that, we agree should happen. Doesn't mean you should, but this is something that if you're a commissioner or things like that, that you should talk to your league about and say, hey, how do you guys feel about implementing these rules, stuff like that? Or if you're just a commissioner of the league and you know what, you're getting annoyed at certain things, this and that, whatever the case may be, these are just etiquettes that we as older veteran players have kind of come a little bit to an understanding to, or throughout our time has kind of figured out that these are rules that should probably be said, but don't always have to be, kind of the unspoken rules, so to speak.
Right. So the first one I want to talk about is that you should not be picking up players off the waiver wire if you are the playoffs, um, or have nothing to play for. So the only time you're going to disregard this is if you have a high score league for cash, which I do have one of those for work. So if you can get a top score and earn, we do $20, then
Right.
you're still going to be playing, picking up off the waivers, like everything like normal. Or if you're in the toilet bowl. So I know some leagues like to do last place punishment. So if you're in that league and you don't want to be last place, I highly, recommend keep picking up off the waivers. It's all fair, unless your commissioner says otherwise, but I would doubt that they would say that if there's a punishment involved.
Yeah, that would be kind of
So,
weird.
so you're all good on there. Two, the next one I want to talk about is do not, and I think this is universal. I don't think I even need
This
to
is
ask this one.
100%. This
Do
one should not
not
be a
drop your
question.
players if you are out of the playoffs. I've had really bad experiences in leagues that I've been in for years that I'm
Me
no
too.
longer in because people will rage or cat out. X
Yep.
cats out, but they'll literally cry like a little. They'll just cry and then they drop all their players. Patrick Mahomes, anybody they can drop, they drop them. Do not do that. There's nothing worse than someone raging out and being a crybaby and dropping all their players. Not only will the commissioner probably not invite you back to the league, But it makes you look like a whiny bitch. I'm just gonna say it plain
To
like that,
to
like
be
straight up.
honest, bro, like you're a grown adult playing this. If you're really
Even
acting
in
like
your
that
teens,
and
I
throw
think you shouldn't be
yeah,
doing that. Yeah,
even then, dude, if you're throwing fits like that, like you really need to work on the mental fortitude and you should probably just not play because you're kind of ruining it for everybody else. And once you
right.
feel like, maybe you mentally can handle losing, then come back on, give it a shot again, and, work on whatever issues you got.
And the reason why it's important is commissioners usually can go in and fix the players, put the teams back on your roster. They'll most likely kick you out of your team. Like there's things to be done, but you're giving more work to the commissioner who probably already has a lot of stuff going on. It's just not like I said. This is etiquette, right? There's no reason for it. Take your loss like a man and move on. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. The next one I got, and this is more specifically to the commissioners and leagues. If your platform allows for it, lock the team's rosters who are out of the playoffs and continue to do so until the championship games. So I wanted to let you know, like, if you're in if there's a third and fourth place game and they're getting their money back for third place, obviously don't lock that in week 17. You can leave that open. But for everybody else, you should probably lock that team up if there's none of these like last place punishments or money leagues as far as like for top score. Just kind of put two and two together, make it make sense. Like we're in a mock league that third place doesn't get anything, only the first place winner gets something. So everyone, as they start losing, is going to be locked out of their team. And if they want to set their roster or whatever, it's fine, but they cannot pick up off waivers, which I think is 100% fair. So, and then the last thing I just wanted to tell everybody is remember at the end of the day, fantasy football is supposed to be fun. If you're really stressed about winning money, then maybe you should play in a free league, or maybe you shouldn't be playing fantasy football at all. It's sometimes it's $50, $10, $100. There's some crazy people that do $1,000. Hey, to each their own. I personally don't do that, but if you can't afford, it's like gambling or betting. Like if you can't afford to do it, you shouldn't be doing it anyways. And if you're relying on that money to pay bills or rent, probably shouldn't be spending that kind of money and getting into a money league. So if you're in that situation, consider a free league, make it fun. Um,
One thing
but
too is if you are in any of these leagues where these things are happening and you don't agree with it, leave the league. There's nothing wrong
yeah,
with it. I understand, but that's my only league. Like that's the only league that I get to play in and things like that. I understand, but really that last point needs to be driven home is do it to have fun. If you're not having
right.
fun and it's not enjoyable to you, then just try and find another league. It's okay. Or feel free to start your own league and make the rules apparent straight out the gate. Do those types of things. But if you're feeling any issue with any of these, just leave the league. It's okay. You'll find another.
Or, I mean, if you're a listener to the show and part of the community, I mean, we have a mock league. So if you
Hey,
really need a league, we
right,
definitely can find room
right,
and we can make multiple mock leagues. Or we
right.
can use the Discord to make leagues. So in today's episode, we're going to be covering NFL Week 14 recap. So we're going to look at some of the NFL news, the games. We're going to do a Week 14 boomer bust. So we're looking at PPR formats. We're going to go over quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, the players that did the best and the worst for week 14. Then we're going to get into our week 15 injury report. As a reminder, there's no bye weeks from here on out. So week 15, 16, 17, 18, no more buys. So you don't have to worry about bye weeks. We're going to get into some waiver wire pickups. We're going to do our week 15 start and sit at quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, defense. And then we're going to get into our apology segment, which X created, which I like a lot, where we're going to apologize about players that we told you to start or sit that maybe did better or worse than what we had said. Then we're going to get into our week 15 football bets. We're going to look at money line, over, under, and spread. And at the very end, we're going to do hot takes. And if you're looking specifically for a certain section, like maybe you're only here for the recap, maybe you're only here for the starts and sits or the waiver wires, you can go to the timestamp if you're watching on YouTube, and you can click to where you want to go, and it'll take you exactly to the spot, and you can enjoy the content like that. All right, let's get into the week 14 recap. So Thursday Night Football, big game. I was excited to watch it. Happy
Yeah.
with the result, I will say that. It's good for the memes. But the Lions beat the Cowboys 44-30. The Cowboys' chances are pretty slim. It was 6% before last night, but since the Eagles lost, it went up to 10. So,
Oh, big money, boys.
yeah, well, the Eagles have a 93% shot. They basically need to win that division, I think, to go to the playoffs. So we'll see what happens there. Next, Xavier's going to like this one.
what are we doing?
Yeah, the
What
Titans
happened?
beat the Browns
Oh,
31-29. Yes,
man,
sir.
Cam Ward showed supremacy.
Well,
Okay,
I
well,
don't know
that's
about
good to
all
know.
that, but Sanders went 23 for 42 with 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 3 carries for 29 yards and a touchdown.
Against the
I will
24th
say,
ranked defense.
Sanders had a game. He did better this week than
Against
he
a
did against the
crappy
Raiders.
team.
I agree, but he did well. They lost, and I would put that on Kevin Stefanski at this point.
Oh,
But
yeah.
either way,
No,
the
100%.
Titans no longer have the number 1 pick. The New York Giants are now the number 1 pick overall. So it'll be interesting to see how all this plays out at the very end. And there's a couple more big games, exciting games, or big upsets, I should say, that happened this week.
Oh, yeah.
So the Seahawks destroyed the Falcons 37-9. It looked good in the first half. I think it was like 9-6 or 6-6. And then for some reason,
Just
Seahawks
took
always
away.
play really good in the second half and absolutely blew them out of the water. The next game, Jaguars beat the Colts 36-19. Why? Well, Daniel Jones is out for the year with an Achilles injury. And now they're signing Phillip Rivers, baby. 44-year-old
Nice.
grandpa. Yeah, that's right.
Go, boys. Woo! I'm all for it.
So we'll see what happens with them. It'll be pretty interesting, in my opinion. But he's on the practice squad, so let's not get crazy. But we'll see what happens.
Know what's happening. We know
the Vikings blanked the Commanders 31-0 after getting blanked the week before. So that's the first time that's happened since 1996, I believe. And Justin Jefferson only had 2 catches for 11 yards and 4 targets. And I still continue to feel bad for him every week. That poor soul. The Bills beat the Bengals 39-34. And it was a very back and forth game. It looked like the Bengals were going to beat the Bills for a second, but Bills played at home. Bills always play really good at home. So not surprised there. Josh Allen was the number 1 quarterback this week. Then the Saints beat the Bucks 24-20. That's the big upset I was talking to you about. It's it's an NFC South showdown. The Saints have nothing to play for, but
just a ruined season.
The real question is, should we start panicking about Baker Mayfield? And this is a question we'll talk about later in the hot takes, but this is just something I want to put in your heads now is, should we start worrying about the AC joint sprain? Because it's really affecting his play, in my opinion. This is another big one, especially for my lunch bet at work. The Steelers beat the Ravens 27-22. I will say Lamar played better. I'm going to apologize for it later. And so does Zay Flowers. But the AFC North is starting to slip away from them, and the Steelers are now the number 1 in their division. They have the tiebreaker, so it's gonna be tough. I think the Ravens are like a 33% chance right now. So, and the Steelers are at 66. So, see that math correctly. But the Eagles and the Cowboys, anyways, I don't know what NFL is doing over here. But the next game, the Dolphins beat the Jets 34-10. Tyrod and Devontae Chain got hurt, and that's really it. I mean, I'm not really surprised. The Broncos beat the Raiders 24-17. Also not surprised, but Geno got hurt. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Their backup's Kenny Pickett. And not like it matters for the Raiders. They're already out. And the Broncos are still the worst team, in my opinion, in the AFC. So next, the Rams dismantled the Cardinals 45-17. They're now the number 1 seed in the NFC. Not really surprised. I mean, the Rams, I think, are Super Bowl favorites, and they have been all year for me. So I'm not very surprised. It'll be interesting to see when they play Seattle here in a couple weeks how that pans out. Next, the Packers beat the Bears 28-21. Some things never change. Somebody on the show said the Bears were gonna get swept. The Packers is still on the Bears. Packers on the number 1 seed in the NFC North, and they have the number 2 seed overall in the NFC. So good for them. They play the Bears in 2 weeks. Next, the Texans beat the Chiefs 20-10 in a grimy defensive battle. That was a trap game. We kind of already saw it happening. I think X and I both took the Texans last week just because their defense is so good. But now the question that we'll ask later is the Chiefs Dynasty over?
Yes.
I don't know.
I
think so too.
I've
but we'll
talked
talk
to
about that later.
diehard Chiefs fans, dude. Ooh.
We'll save it for the hot take section, but yeah, it's rough. Rough to be a Chiefs fan right now. Chargers beat the Eagles 22-19 in OT with a game-stealing interception. Eagles are playing terribly. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. I still think they win the NFC East, but that's only because I don't want the Cowboys to go. All right. Next, we get our Week 14 Boomer Bust. So we're looking at PPR format. So the QB booms this week, I kind of already talked about him. Josh Allen at 37.84 points. Shedeur Sanders at 34.46 points. Joe Burrow, 25.36 points. And Sam Darnold at 23.26 points. The bust, mind you, some of these guys got injured. Tyrod Taylor minus 0.76 points. Daniel Jones at 1.8. Both those guys got hurt. Next guy, Jaden Daniels, also got hurt. 3.72 points. And Jalen Hurts at 4.4. Mind you, I think he's like the first time someone has gotten minus 4 points in one fantasy play or one play.
Yeah.
He had a 3 interception and got a fumble and then got the ball back and then fumbled it.
Yeah, he made history for all the wrong reasons.
Right. It was a pretty rough game for him. Running back boom, Jahmyr Gibbs, 37 points, even,
No
not
surprise.
surprised. Tony Pollard's finally made the list, 28.1.
All
Don't know
right,
if
the
he repeats
boy.
that, but good for him. Blake Corum, 26.1.
The
Also
second
don't think he
running back.
does that again. Yep. Don't think he does that again, but hey, so kudos to him. And RJ Harvey, Denver's running back rookie, 22 points. Bust, Kenneth Walker, 3.8 points, not surprised. Brees Hall, 4.3. Ashton Genty, 5.8. And Zonovan Knight, or Bam Knight, 6.4. Boom. Michael Wilson, 37.2 points. It's almost like when Marvin Harrison Jr. is not there, Michael Wilson's a really good receiver. Puka Nacua, 35.7. JSN, 28.1. And T. Higgins, before he got hurt, 27.2. All right. Bust. I have a little bit of extra just because I had to throw them in there. Bigger names, Romeo Dobbs, 0 points. DJ Moore, 0.6 points. Ladidi McConkey, for those Key and Peele sketch folks, 2.2 points. Quentin Johnston, not a stranger to these parts, 2.8 points.
Oh.
And Justin Jefferson, 3.1 points. That's a big name. I had to throw him on there. Yeah, but it's Justin Jefferson. All right. Boom. I'm leaving that in. I don't
Why
care.
do I
This time
feel
I'm
like
leaving
that's
it in.
going to be a thing now, dude? But it's Justin Jefferson.
That's going to be our thing. That's going to be our thing now.
Fuck, dude.
Tight end, boom. Harold Fannin Jr., 25.4 points. Mike Gesicki, 20.6. Dawson Knox, 17.3. Josh Oliver. Who's Josh Oliver? The backup tight end for the Vikings. 16.4 points.
Okay.
Bust. Rhonda Gadsden, 1.7. Travis Kelce, 1.8. Mark Andrews, 1.9. Guess who? This guy got hurt and he's out for the year and did better than all these guys. Zach Ertz, 2.1 points. Darren Waller, 2.7
These are
points.
supposed to be the top tight ends. Like, what the?
Yeah, bro. It's
dude,
tight ends are super high or super low, dude.
Dude, they're so weird this year, dude. Like,
yeah,
there's no understanding them.
Yeah.
None.
But next, we're going to get our Week 15 injury report. And X, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
So, injury report. Quarterbacks, we got Jaden Daniels of the Commanders. Got that elbow injury again. Daniel Jones from the Colts. The Achilles. That one sucks. Tyrod Taylor, the Jets. Got that groin injury. Justin Herbert of the Chargers. The hand injury. That's might mess with some people. Geno Smith of the Raiders. Shoulder. Nobody really cares. Running back. Devon Achane from the Dolphins. That one is going to hurt some people come playoff time. Hopefully, minor injury. Alvin Kamara of the Saints, still with that knee injury. Tyron Tracy Jr. of the Giants with the hip injury. Nick Chubb of the Texans, rib. And Keaton Mitchell of the Ravens with a knee injury. Wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb. Cowboys, the concussion. That's going to hurt some people. T. Higgins of the Bengals, concussion. That is going to hurt some people.
Again, yeah.
Dude. Drake London with the Falcons, still with that knee injury. Marvin Harrison Jr. of the Cardinals with a new random injury of the heel. Garrett Wilson of the Jets, knee injury, still on IR. Mike Evans of the Bucks, collarbone, still on IR.
Might be coming back, though.
Maybe.
21
Odunze.
day windows open.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully he can get some good practice in. Rome Odunze of the Bears, foot injury. Parker Washington of the Jaguars. That one, that hurts a lot of people's flexes, I bet. Hip injury. DK Metcalf of the Steelers, stomach. Tight ends. Zach Ertz of the Commanders, knee injury. He's done. That was a nasty one. And Njoku of the Browns with a knee injury. That one was super unfortunate to watch, but happens.
Next, we're going to get into our Week 15 fantasy football waiver wires, and we're going to get into our rankings after that. So, get into some waiver wires. I mean, you're going to see this list. I posted on Instagram and I posted on TikTok. It gets posted on Tuesday, the day that we film. So, it's before the waiver wires on Wednesday. So, if you really wanted to know, because this episode's not going to come out until after waivers are already done, please, go to our Instagram, go to our TikTok, and look these up. They're there. Use them. I've gotten great feedback from them. People have made fantasy playoffs this year because of them. So, just consider using it as another resource. So, Jacoby Brissett, he's my number one guy that I like this week at quarterback. As far as for waiver wire, I see that he's still not picked up in a lot of leagues. He's throwing the ball a lot, and you need to start him in good matchups because he's playing from behind a lot, and he's going to be chucking it. Next is Sam Darnold. He and Jason are very good, but the only problem with Sam Darnold is that it's very matchup based. If he's going to be winning by a lot, he is not going to do well because he's just going to be handing the ball off quite a bit. So kind of just think about that before you start him. And if you're in a deeper league and you're in the playoffs and you don't have anybody, he might be just the next best thing that you can do at this point. Next is Bryce Young. So Bryce Young has been doing pretty good the last couple of weeks. I know they just had their bye, and he's slinging the ball, man. They kind of just like, hey, we got a boomer busted at this point to try to make playoffs, and we got to just sling the rock. And they're slinging the rock. And guys like McMillan and Dwaddle and Hubbard are really doing well for him. So definitely not a bad pickup, especially going into playoffs if you have some injuries. And the last guy, take this last one with a grain of salt. This is a deeper league ad.
Very much so.
I don't anticipate Shedeur Sanders to do what he did against the Titans again this year. But if he has a good matchup, it might not be a bad idea depending on your quarterback situation. There's going to be some tough games coming up for some of these quarterbacks. I mean, you're not starting them over Lamar and some of those bigger names, but you might have like a Patrick Mahomes who doesn't have a good matchup or something like that. Right. Well, Patrick Mahomes didn't have a good matchup last week and didn't do very well. So something like that is if you can get a good situation and you're in a deeper league, he might not be a bad start depending on the matchup. Next, I want to get into running back. Kyle Monangai is how they said it, so now I know how to say it. He's a Swift handcuff, but they're sharing carries, and he's getting a touchdown like every week. It's the weirdest thing, but for the most part, besides last week against the Packers, he's doing it, so I really like him as my top guy. Then you got Devin Neal. He's replacing the injured Alvin Kamara. He's been doing very well, so I do recommend picking him up if he's still there. Tony Pollard. So I don't anticipate Tony Pollard doing what he did last week again this year. But if you need him as a flex spot, he might not be a bad pickup or just some depth in case somebody gets hurt. And last, you're going to pick up Jalen Wright. Why are you going to pick up Jalen Wright? Because he's a handcuff for Devon A. Chain. Isn't that right, X?
Yes, he is.
Right. So if he's needed or if someone has a chain and you have an earlier waiver wire pickup, you pick this boy up. You block him, okay? You heard it here first. Next, receiver, Michael Wilson. I kind of already alluded to it. He's still not picked up in a lot of leagues. Marvin Harrison's hurt. If Marvin Harrison's hurt, you start him. If Marvin Harrison's playing, maybe you put him in your flex. Maybe you don't start him for that week. So he's a must add. He's a must start as long as Marvin Harrison's out. Next, I got Christian Watson. I know Jaden Reed might be able to be a better pickup in this situation, but not everyone dropped Jaden Reed, so I didn't want to put him here. Christian Watson is available. He went 4 for 4 with 2 touchdowns, so he's a big red zone target. He got a lot of yak in last week's games too. So I think you can comfortably grab him with Green Bay throwing the rock quite a bit. And then you got Jaden Higgins. He's a rookie receiver for the Texans. The Texans offense isn't crazy. He just had a tough matchups against Kansas City. His performance last week, I don't want to hold him to that so much just because he had a bad matchup. But he's playing against Arizona and then Las Vegas, so it looks very good for him in the coming weeks. And this last guy I have for receiver is Ryan Flournoy. He played when CeeDee Lamb got hurt this week. CeeDee Lamb had a concussion. He might be a handcuff or a deeper league ad, but he had more points than George Pickens did. So, they might, if George Pickens gets doubled, I mean, they're going to be looking at this guy at this point. So, might not be a bad ad, especially in your deeper leagues. Next, we're going to tight end. So, I like Harold Fannin Jr. Sanders loves to throw this guy. They're both rookies. And honestly, I do suspect the Browns to be playing from behind a lot. So, trust Sanders to throw it to his safety net if he does throw the ball. And then Hunter Henry, why? Because, he's always up and down every week, every year. That's one thing about him. He's consistently inconsistent when it comes to his big games and bad games. But he's still Drake May's number one target, and Drake May still loves to throw to him. So no matter what, he's almost one of those riskier guys that you might just need to start. And I don't think anybody would fault you for doing so. Then you got Brenton Strange. He's still a good ad, even after he had a down week. He's still one of the number one targets for Jacksonville, and Jacksonville's playing very good. I will give it to them. I don't think they go far, but they're playing very good. He might not be a bad ad. And then Theo Johnson, and saying it every week, he's a safety net for Dart. They were just on a bye week, so he didn't play last week, but he's a good red zone target, and he's a good stash, especially if you don't have a good matchup at your tight end position. Last, we're going to get into the defense. So I like San Francisco this week. This is the first time and last time you'll probably hear me ever say this for the 2025 season. I like the banged up San Francisco defense against Tennessee. I don't trust Tennessee's offense. I don't trust Cam Ward. I don't trust all those rookies.
That's
And the Niners just signed Eric Kendricks. Shout out Fresno Clovis boy. Hoover High. What's up? Eric Kendricks, really good linebacker for the for the Minnesota Vikings back in the day. Went to the Chargers, went to the Cowboys, and now he signed with the Niners. Great addition for their team, and I think that Robert Saleh defense should be able to stop the Tennessee offense. Then I like Philadelphia versus Las Vegas. I really don't need to say why, even though Philadelphia hasn't been playing good. It's Vegas. Next, I like Chicago versus Cleveland. Chicago's defense is actually not that bad, so I don't think Shedeur, like this is a matchup where you're not starting Shedeur. I think Chicago is going to be able to handle Cleveland's offense, and then you're going to start Jacksonville versus the Jets. I don't know who's starting at quarterback for the Jets this week. I don't know if Justin Fields is going to be playing or not.
Yeah, probably.
They had somebody else in, but Jacksonville should have a very favorable matchup against the Jets this week. The last thing I wanted to say is that, it's fantasy football playoffs, so it's important to have your team stocked up or handcuffed, and there's only 3 more weeks of fantasy football in normal leagues. So keep that in mind. Use this to help you grab some of those handcuffs, and good luck. Next, we're going to get in our starts and sits. So starting at quarterback this week, I got Stafford versus Detroit. I don't know if I'd call this a revenge game, but Matthew Stafford has a very favorable matchup against a really bad defense, in my opinion, and I do anticipate this to be a very pass-heavy game. And then you're going to start Joe Burrow versus Baltimore. Joe Burrow did very good last time he played Baltimore, which was 2 weeks ago. I do anticipate that he's going to do that again, and I'm very confident that I'm starting him over Drake May personally in my league, to show you how confident I am in Joe Burrow. You're sitting Baker Mayfield against Atlanta. Granted, I don't think Atlanta's a very good team. I just can't trust Baker Mayfield right now with that AC joint sprain, so try to avoid starting him. And then I'm going to sit Justin Herbert this week against Kansas City. He did okay against the Eagles, but the Kansas City has a great defense. I do not trust that with him having a banged up hand. So, X, you got starting at quarterback this week.
Starting at quarterback, I got the boy Trevor Lawrence going against the New York Jets. Trevor Lawrence has been doing solid this year. The Jets are still the Jets. They've been fighting off a couple people, but they're still the Jets. And next, you're going to start Sam Darnold against Indianapolis. Indianapolis lost their quarterback. They're going to be running the ball a lot with Jonathan Taylor, which means that Sam Darnold is going to have a lot of time early on to pass the ball, get a lot of touchdowns, get ahead quick. So looking forward to Sam Darnold this week. Sitting, you're going to sit Lamar Jackson against Cincinnati right now.
Ooh.
Yep. We are in the situation where we cannot take question marks. Lamar Jackson has been playing bad. The Baltimore Ravens have been playing bad. You should not, if you're in playoffs, we do not need question marks. Lamar Jackson is not safe this week at all. Next, you're also going to sit Stafford against Detroit. Ooh. Why? Because Detroit likes to clean out the clock. They have good running backs. Their receivers are back. I don't think that Matthew Stafford is going to get as many opportunities as you might think. And right now, Corum is starting to pick up some steam. Kyron Williams, it's just a lot of running in this game. I don't see them slinging the ball too much.
Running back this week, I got Bucky Irving versus Atlanta. Bucky Irving, before his injury and after his injury, has been very consistent. And especially with Baker Mayfield having that bum shoulder, he's been relied upon quite a bit, and I really like his matchup against Atlanta. If you look historically, he was a rookie last year. If you look at how he played, he's done very well with Atlanta. He's been consistent about 16 points, so that's what I anticipate getting from him. And then you're going to start Saquon Barkley versus Vegas. So, some people might consider Barkley a superstar. I think this year he hasn't been, but with his big 55-yard run and a touchdown against the Chargers last week, the Chargers have a better defense than the Raiders do. I think Barkley is going to get a lot of looks in this Raiders game and do very well. Sitting, this is going to be bold, but I'll tell you why. You're going to sit James Cooks at New England. And the reason why you're going to do that is because if you look historically against New England, and especially with that Mike Vrabel defense, James Cooks has not done well against them. And they're playing in New England, and Josh Allen is historically known, and that whole team is bad at playing away. So I just think it's a hot one, but if you're starting him, just know that you're going to be looking at not a good game from him. And then you're going to set Breece Hall against Jacksonville. Breece Hall didn't have a good week last week, but Jacksonville's defense is very good. And I just don't think Breece Hall is going to do very well, even though he's the only shining light in that on that team right
on
now,
that whole
unfortunately.
team. Yeah.
Yeah. X, who's starting at running back this week?
Starting at running back, I got Javonte Williams going against Minnesota. I feel like this is going to be honestly kind of a bit of a snooze fest to where they're just going to try and establish the run early. And once the Cowboys probably get a giant lead, Javonte's going to be used quite a bit. So I don't see any reason of why he shouldn't have at least a 15+ point game. Next, I got Chase Brown going against Baltimore. Baltimore is absolutely atrocious. Their defense is bad. Their offense can't get it together. Chase Brown, nice PPR back and does pretty good at rushing. So no reason of why he shouldn't have a good game. Sitting, you're going to sit Derrick Henry against Cincinnati. Right now, he's not getting the type of carries that he should be getting. That line is not doing a good job at run blocking at all. That line, honestly, the more and more I'm watching him, it's actually just bad overall. Lamar's constantly getting flushed out of the pocket, whether he wants to or not. So it's kind of hard to trust Derrick Henry right now, and the Ravens just aren't using him the way that they should be. And then you're also going to sit Henderson against Buffalo. Why? I know it's because I think if any scoring is going to happen, it's going to happen over the air. And with that being the case, I think that since the Patriots have already kind of secured their playoff spot, I feel like Stevenson is going to be used more to kind of keep Henderson a little bit more safer. So I think his carries are going to get cut into.
It's very bold. Very bold.
Oh, yeah.
Next, starting receiver, I got Devontae Adams. I'm going back to back. He just had a bad week last week. Devontae Adams is the leader in receiving touchdowns. So I think with Detroit, Brian Branch being out, it's going to allow for more opportunities for him. They're going to have to cover Puka because you just saw last week, Puka absolutely went off. So you can't double both guys. So I think Devontae's going to have a way better game this week. And then you're starting Nico Collins versus Arizona. I don't think I've had Nico Collins on my list at all, usually ever, because I never trust the Texans offense in general. But Arizona is a very favorable matchup, and a little sneak peek, they're playing Vegas next week, the week after. So I think Nico's going to be very good if you have him coming up. Sitting. So even though I talked highly about this guy, you're going to sit Tatora McMillan this week against the Saints. The only reason for it is that it's a divisional game. These NFC South teams get really weird, and they play really well against each other. So I just don't trust it entirely. I think he'll be fine, in the next coming weeks. I just don't know if I like it. And then you're going to sit Stephon Diggs versus Buffalo. Stephon Diggs has been up and down all season. He had a couple weeks where he did really good. Yeah. Lately, he hasn't been playing so good. Even though it's kind of like a mini revenge game for him this week, I just don't anticipate that he's going to do well. And yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with him on that. X, who you starting at receiver this week?
Starting at receiver, you're going to start Rashee Rice against the Chargers. I feel like the Chiefs are going to have a bit of a bounce back game, and I feel like they're going to start to kick it into overdrive because they haven't really missed playoff appearance at all since Mahomes has been there. So I feel like they're going to kick it into gear. I feel like Andy Reid is going to start kind of pulling these random tricks out of the coaching bag, and Rashee Rice I'm calling it now, might even get himself a nice little rushing touchdown. So I like where that's going. Next, didn't think I would say it this year, AJ Brown going against Las Vegas. That's just a good matchup. AJ Brown whined and complained enough to the media to where now the Eagles felt compelled to make him viable again to shut him up. So AJ Brown, probably good to play from probably the rest of your playoffs, to be quite honest. Sitting, you're going to sit McLaurin against the New York Giants. McLaurin is, it's weird. That whole Washington team is kind of just weird right now. Marcus Mariota actually isn't that bad of a quarterback. I feel like the coaching staff is actually limiting him. And so they're not really able to throw those deep balls, go down the field the way that Marcus Mariota probably could play. And so I feel like that affects McLaurin. Deebo Samuel is kind of viable right now just because of the rushing aspect. But as of right now, don't start Scary Terry. Next, you're going to sit Waddle against Pittsburgh. I love Waddle. I had Waddle in almost all of my leagues. I love Waddle so much, and I wish he was on a better team. He is in the same situation as Justin Jefferson. It's not that you can't trust Waddle. You can't trust Tua. Tua's not going to be able to get the ball anywhere. So with that being the case, unfortunately, I unfortunately made a blood pact with Waddle where I have to start him every single time. And I didn't last week and I paid for it. So unfortunately, though, I would say bench Waddle this week only for the single fact of Tua.
All right. Next, starting at tight end, I like Kyle Pitts at Tampa Bay. You know, I'm not a really big fan of Kyle Pitts by any means, but he's been putting
Yeah.
up 15 points consistently. He's been the only light in that Atlanta offense besides Bijan Robinson, but
Not
more in the
Bijan
receiving
Robinson.
department. Huh?
I said not Bijan Robinson, the worst running back.
Bijan Robinson's doing fine. It's
The
just
worst running
Drake
back in the
London's out.
NFL.
No, that's crazy. But I think with Tampa, them being a divisional game, I think it's going to be close. I just think Pitts is that safety net for Kirk Cousins, and that's where he's going to throw it. And then you're going to start Harold Fannin Jr. He just went off. I don't anticipate him getting 25 points again this week. He's playing against Chicago. Like I said, I don't think Shedeur is going to do well this week in general, but I think he's going to be thrown to Fannin, and Fannin's going to be viable in that tight end position because honestly, if they can get you 10 points, you're going to be pretty happy about it. Sitting, you're going to sit Gazin this week against Kansas City. He's been putting up some pretty bad scores lately. So Gadsden has only had 2 boom weeks. I would say like really big boom weeks in fantasy football this year. It was against the Colts and it was against the Vikings. It was 29.4 points and 18.7. The rest he's got since then, it was 11.8, 4.3, 6.1, 3.7, 1.7. So it's not looking good. I'm worried about Justin Herbert's hand. I'm worried about Kansas City, even though he is a safety net. I just don't trust it. I don't trust anybody on that team right now. So because of that, I'm just not comfortable in the playoffs with starting him this week. And then you're going to sit Hunter Henry versus Buffalo. I know it's weird because, you know, Drake May, he's playing at home. Xavier's expecting him to throw a lot.
Yeah.
Just Hunter Henry's so up and down. You just can't trust them. And Buffalo can get weird. Buffalo can get good when it comes down to crunch time.
That is very
you don't know what defense is going to show up. So I think there's just better options at tight end where you can feel a little bit more comfortable with what you're expecting to get as far as points are concerned. X, who you starting at tight end this week?
So starting at tight end, I got the boy Darren Waller going against Pittsburgh. I know it's a rough one. There is a lot of question marks, and I know earlier in the show I said we're not playing with question marks, but unfortunately at the tight end spot there are not many to choose from, and you don't want to be the guy to lose in playoffs because you didn't trust one of these more higher end tight ends. So, you know, tight end position is always a gamble, probably more than the defense. So, I mean, run with Waller. He is kind of the safety net for Tua when Tua does start to freak out. So, you know, feel confident in maybe getting that PPR. Next, I got the boy Gatson going against Kansas City. I feel like Gatson kind of has a bit of a bounce back game going against Kansas City. If they put another quarterback in there, whatever the case may be, the number one staple of a quarterback is go to your check down, which majority of the time, your check down is normally your running back. But in a lot of situations, your, emergency, so to speak, is going to be your tight end majority of the time. And I feel like Gatson has that ability to make quarterbacks feel comfortable in that situation. Harbaugh seems to like him for the most part. So I don't see any reason of why he wouldn't do all that great. Sitting, you're going to sit Kyle Pitts going against Tampa Bay. I know he's been having 15-point games. I get it, but he's still Kyle Pitts. I'm going to be the guy to bring you back down to earth, Rod. He's still Kyle Pitts. Remember why you hate him. It's the same thing with Quentin Johnston. Remember, don't ever forget. Okay. Next, you're going to sit Kelsey against the Chiefs. I know. I literally just said, well, tight ends, there's not really all that good. This one, dude, Kelsey is on the decline. You've seen it all year. His head is not in the game. Talking to a diehard Chiefs fan from the beginning of his life, and that boy is over 50 years old already. He is over Kelsey, ready for him to get out of here.
Yeah, he's a little distracted, but I don't blame him because he's going to marry a billionaire. So I don't have a graphic for defense, so I'll just go ahead and put this up. So starting at defense this week, and we've kind of probably touched on it a little bit earlier, is I like Philly versus Las Vegas. Las Vegas might be starting Kenny Pickett, Aiden O'Connell, maybe Pickett. But Philly should bounce back. I think this is a win for them. It's not a trap game, as many people are calling it. I think it's an easy dub for them, and they just got to show up. And I like San Francisco. Like I said, this is going to be the only time I'm going to bring them up. Robert Saleh defense, I'm going to take him over most. Unfortunate with the injuries, but Tennessee is just not it this year. Even though they beat Cleveland, I just think that San Francisco should have a pretty easy time, and it should be very good for them. Sitting, you're going to sit Detroit this week against the Rams. Rams are just the best team, honestly, in football, in my opinion, on both sides of the ball. They have a couple slip ups, but they're going to get up for a big game like this. And I just think Detroit is going to be playing from behind, and it's going to be unfortunate for them. And then you're going to sit Indianapolis Colts. And the reason for that is because there are some injuries to Sauce, the quarterback situation. There's just a lot going on right now. We don't know if Phillip Rivers is playing this week, but they're playing against Seattle. Seattle is one of the best defenses in the league. Their offense has been pretty good for the most part. And I just don't think the Colts are going to get it done this week. They're going to be running the ball a lot with Jonathan Taylor, like Xavier said. But Seattle's really good on defense. So I think they stuff them, in my personal opinion. X, who you got starting at defense this week?
So I got Tampa Bay going against Atlanta. Atlanta, like you said before, doesn't really have many shining stars. So I don't see any reason of why Tampa Bay wouldn't be able to kind of shut them down. I'm not saying to goose egg them, but they should be able to hold them at least to 14 points at best. And definitely get some takeaways, get some sacks, get you some points on defense. Next, you're going to start Pittsburgh against Miami. Miami is just an absolute crap show. All you got to do is pressure Tua, and he doesn't know what to do, and it just all falls apart. So no reason of why Pittsburgh shouldn't be able to do big things. Next, you're going to sit Houston against Arizona. Arizona goes wild. Brissett's just chucking the ball everywhere. Wilson is just looking like Jerry Rice out there. So, I mean, dude, it's going crazy. Like that boy's just out there slinging the ball like it's a hot potato, dude. So
like he's a starting quarterback, huh?
Dude, I'm telling you, like he's the man. But Houston's defense is the number one ranked defense. I totally understand. But at the same time, too, if Houston starts scoring a lot on Arizona, which I do doubt, it's going to give Arizona a lot of opportunities to mess up that Houston defense. And right now in playoffs, we can't take that chance. Next, you're going to sit Cleveland against Chicago. Cleveland got tore up by the number 1 overall draft pick of the Tennessee Titans, best quarterback in the NFL.
No.
But
you can even say that with a straight face.
I just had to do it because I already saw you getting off. But to be honest, Cleveland, I think the Titans did expose a lot of holes in Cleveland. I think Cleveland was looking more for the pass. Tennessee went with the run. So going against Chicago, I think they're going to have that same mistake where they're going to be looking for the pass. And I think Swift and Magong, whatever that guy's name is. So I think it's going to be more of a ground game than it is anything. And I think that Cleveland is going to have a bit of a difficult time, especially because their offense isn't going to be able to get many things moving against Chicago's defense. So this is our fun segment where we get knocked off our high horse, kind of humble ourselves a little bit, which is some of those calls that we might have made for you of starts and sits where they didn't just pan out exactly the way, we thought they were. So we being more of a community-based channel and podcast, we like to pay our respects, let the people know when we might have made a little bit of a questionable call. So I'll start it off. I told you boys to sit Jordan Love. The boy got 20 points against Chicago. That I was not expecting. I told you to start Judkins. Got 9 points against Tennessee. I expected him to do a little bit better. Just didn't work out that way. I also told you to start Swift, who got 10 points against Green Bay. I was really expecting him to do a lot better. Just didn't work out that way. I told you to sit Saquon Barkley. He got 18 points against the Chargers. You take away his big run. Yeah, probably would have been right on that one, but that's all right. I told you to start McLaurin. Had trust in the boy. He only got 7 points going against Minnesota. Told you to start Darren Waller, who only got 2 points against the Jets. I told you to start Gadsden, which I'm doing again, who got 1 point against Philadelphia. Oh, man, that's kind of funny to say. Then I told you to start Tampa Bay, 5 points against New Orleans. Definitely didn't see that one coming. And I told you to sit the Chargers, who got 14 points against Philadelphia. Let's be honest, nobody saw that one coming. Is what it is with all those injuries. But I do apologize for those takes. There are some in there that are pretty rough. So I'm willing to eat crow on those bad boys. you know, hopefully, hopefully I didn't destroy any trust here.
Hopefully, we didn't cost anybody their fantasy playoff hopes.
Ugh. I mean, let's
So,
be honest, we were probably doing that all on our own.
yeah, that's fair. So before I apologize for some of my guys, I do want to say and add a caveat that last week I did say, um, with Lamar and with Zay Flowers, we couldn't trust them, so that's why I was sitting them. I will now retake everything back and just not say to start or sit them because they're so hot and cold. Yes and no. They're out and they're up
Just
and they're
leave them
down.
alone.
They're wrong and they're right. It's black and it's white. I'm just quoting Carey Perry at this point. But anyways, I told you to sit Lamar Jackson. He put up 22 against Pittsburgh. Personally, I like him here on out. Just, you got him, you drafted him, go for it. Next, I told you to sit Travis Etienne. He put up 21 points against Colts. Told you to start Devontae Adams. He only got a sixer against Arizona. That was an interesting one. Told you to sit Zay Flowers. He got 21 against Pittsburgh. That was a surprising one as well. I told you to start Jawan Johnson, and he put up 7 against the Bucks. So not too great. Not bad, but not great. I think he could have done better. I told you to sit Kyle Pitts. He put up 15 against Seattle. I don't think anybody saw that happening.
No,
And I told you to sit Houston, and they put up 12 against Kansas City. So they're very
that's
viable.
surprising.
So I apologize for telling you guys that. I just wanted to add the caveats with the Ravens because I do think that it was important that if you had fantasy playoffs on the line, you for sure could not trust them with how bad they were playing. And that's the only reason why. But from here on out, I just won't include in my list. I don't have to worry about them no more. All right, next we got our Week 15 football bets. So we're looking at the money line, the over/under, and the spread. So starting with Thursday Night Football, we got Atlanta Falcons versus the Bucks. The Bucks are favored by -4.5. I'm going to take the alternate spread of -2.5 because I do not trust that. It's a divisional game. The total is 44.5, and I'm going to go under because Kirk Cousins is playing bad and Baker's hurt.
I agree.
All right, next we got Cleveland Browns versus Chicago Bears. The Bears are favored by -7.5. Nope, that's a trap. I'm taking the Bears at alternate spread at -2.5. The total's 40.5. I'm going to go over because I think the Bears can score.
I agree, but I would say under.
Okay. Next, we got the Bills, who are favored by 1.5 points versus the Patriots. Absolutely not. I'm taking plus money on the Patriots on that game. The total's 50.5. I'm going to go under on that one just because it is a divisional game. I don't trust it. I think the Patriots are going to have a good defense, so that's what I'm doing on that. X?
I'm going to go the Patriots, but I actually think this is going to be a bit of a shootout, possibly, so I'm going to go over.
Okay. Next is the Chargers versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by -4.5. I'm going to take the alternate spread at -2.5 because it is in Kansas City. The total's 43.5. I'm going to go over.
I'm still going to go Chiefs. I agree with the alternate. However, I'm going to go under because I don't know if Herbert is going to play.
Well, no, he's going to play. It's just his hand that he played last week on.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't
He
trust
played,
him.
he played last night on it.
I can't. Well, regardless of that, I can't trust him to even put up the points. I don't
That's
think
fair.
he will.
That's fair. Next, we got the Raiders playing against the Eagles and Philly. Philly's favored by -12.5 points.
Oh my god!
So I will say I think that's a little trappy. I would take -6.5 and feel comfortable with that, just a touchdown. The total's 38.5. I'm going over on that because I think that the Raiders can score a little bit, and I think the Eagles can definitely score. So
well, Geno's not playing, but I do.
Pickett's going to be fine. Yeah. This just looks weird. Okay. Next, we got the Commanders versus the Giants. The Giants are favored by -2.5, and I like that with Jackson Dart playing. The total's 47.5. I'm taking the under on that because I can't trust the Commanders.
I agree.
All right, next we got Jacksonville favored by -12.5 against the Jets.
Ooh.
That's trappy. I'm taking the alternate spread at -6.5 on that just because you never know. That's a lot of points. The total's 41.5. Just because I don't know who's going to be at quarterback for the Jets, I'm going to go under on that, but Jacksonville for sure wins this game.
Jacksonville for sure wins. I'm actually going to go over.
Okay. Next, we got the rematch. We have the Ravens versus the Bengals. The Ravens are favored in this game, -1.5.
Wow.
I don't think so. The total's 52.5. I'm going over on that because both their defenses suck, but I think the Bengals win this, so I'm going at +1.5 again.
I agree.
Okay, next we got the Cardinals versus the Texans. The Texans are favored by -9.5. That's a lot. I don't think their offense is going to be able to do that against Arizona personally. The total's 42.5. I'm going to go over on that, but I think I would rather take the Houston Texans at -2.5 on the spread.
I agree with that one, but I'll actually go under. I don't think it's going to be
Okay.
that scoring.
Next game, we got the Titans versus the
Ah!
Niners. The Niners are favored by -12.5 as well. That's a
What?
trap. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm taking minus. I think -2.5 might be too low. I don't think they'll let you do it. So I'll probably take -6.5 on that. I think you'd be pretty confident on that.
Mm.
The total's 44.5. I'm gonna go under. I don't know. I just don't know if I could trust Titans offense personally, or Niners offense in general. So I'm gonna go under on
Yeah.
that. But I still think San Francisco wins.
I was right about the Titans pick last time, so I'm going to ride the hot hand. I'm still going to go the Titans.
You're just
That's
doing
just
that to try to get something
that's
out of me. It's all good.
that's one of these. That's one of these.
Yeah, it's one of those.
That's one of these.
All right. Next game, we got the Packers favored by 1.5 versus the Broncos. Honestly, I think the Packers can win at -1.5. I think the total's 43.5. I'll go over on that. They both got good defenses. They both got good. Well, Packers have a better offense than the Broncos do, but I think it'll be a good game. But I think each team could put up like 20 something points. So I'll go over on that.
I'm actually going to go Denver because the Packers seem, for some reason, to not do well against like these random type of teams, and I feel like the Broncos are random enough to kind of throw them off. I would go over for that total.
Okay. Next game, we got Carolina versus the New Orleans Saints. The Panthers are favored by -3. I don't like round numbers like that. So we're going to take Panthers at -2.5. That's a definitely doable spread. The total's 40.5. I'm going to go over on that. That's pretty low. I think both these teams can score. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just kind of where I'm at. But I think Panthers win this.
I'm with you. Yep.
Next game, we got Detroit versus Los Angeles. Los Angeles is favored by -5.5. Yeah, I don't know. I think I like this alternate point spread at -2.5. But I do think the Rams win. The total's 55.5. I'm going over.
Oh
I'm going over. Let me tell you why.
no!
Because it opened at 50.5 and it's going over. How did the Rams get beat? Do you remember how the Rams got beat? They got thrown on. What is Detroit going to do? They have to throw the ball. Whether it's to Gibbs, whether it's to Montgomery, they're going to have to throw the ball. So I think it's going to go over 55.5. We're going to be seeing the game in the 30s, in my opinion.
I agree. It's still with the Rams, but I'm definitely going to go under.
Next game, we got the Colts versus the Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by -11.5. Well, according to Xavier, with Phillip Rivers coming back, maybe not. I don't even think he plays this week, but I think I like Seahawks at -6.5 instead. That's a pretty large margin. The total is 42.5. I'm going to go under because I don't know if the Colts can score, honestly, against the Seahawks.
I'm still going to go the Seahawks, but I think it's going to be more of a fight than people think. I'm actually going to go over.
Okay. Next, we have Sunday Night Football. We got the Vikings versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by -6. I'd probably take them at -2.5 just to be safe. The total's 48.5. I'm going to go under just because I don't know if we can trust that Minnesota offense.
I agree.
Okay. And last but not least, I'll probably get rid of this thing here. We have Miami versus the Steelers. The Steelers are favored by 3. I think you take them at -2.5 instead of 3. Because you don't want the push in case they only win by 3. The total is 42.5. I'm going to go over. Both their defenses haven't played very well or have not played well this year. And I think their offenses can both score on each other. But Steelers win this game.
I agree. So, my hot take is Phillip Rivers. Why Phillip Rivers at 44 years old? Why is he going in there? Dude hasn't played in a while. Once he left, people don't really probably remember, but once he left the Chargers, he went to the Colts for a small little stint. When he went there, he, for some reason, left a good impression on the Colts organization. So eventually down the line, they get the offensive coordinator that they have now. That offensive coordinator, Phillip Rivers, has actually been talking to. Prior to all this happening, Phillip Rivers has actually been coaching his son's high school football team. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what does that have to do with anything? Well, the greatest part about it is Phillip Rivers has been in contact with the offensive coordinator of the Colts this entire season, every single week, because the team that Phillip Rivers coaches runs their exact same offense every single week. The boy has been talking to the offensive coordinator, making game plans for his son's high school team. You now have a quarterback who's a veteran, established, good, was good, right? We don't know how he looks now, but I'm sure he looks
Yeah.
fine. You now just found a plug and play quarterback who knows the offense. You don't have to teach him a thing. Cadences, calls, audibles, anything. He doesn't need it because he's been talking to the offensive coordinator all year, the entire time. This is the perfect opportunity for the Colts to have a plug and play quarterback, a quarterback that could probably still throw, probably not amazing, but could still throw enough in the NFL to be competitive with a team that's already competitive when you have one of the best running backs in the NFL right now in your backfield. So to me, it makes perfect sense of what they did. Everybody else is blindsided, but now that you have that information, it makes perfect, crystal clear sense.
Well, with all that being said, my only thing is I had to ask the question, are the Colts done? So what you're
Ooh,
thinking is that with the addition of Phillip Rivers, it gives them a shot, but we don't
yes,
know what Phillip Rivers we're getting because he's 44 years old, removed,
exactly.
5 years
And
removed from the league.
to be fair, when normally majority of the time when a team signs a player to the practice squad or anything like that, they do a physical, they do a small, unofficial kind of just little bit of a training thing to see how they look. The, the Colts obviously felt confident enough to take him. I think it gives them a shot. I don't think they have as good of a shot as they did, but I think they have a shot. I think
Okay.
it was the best opportunity that could have happened, in my
Well,
opinion.
I would argue, I think if they could somehow get Joe Flacco, because I think Joe Flacco's at home right now. I don't even think he's with the Bengals, but he's not playing.
He's
Like
still
he's not
signed with
there.
them because if that was the
Oh, I
case,
wonder.
then you might as well have just got Jamison Winston, honestly.
That might not have been a bad idea either, to be honest. Jameis
Fla-
throws the ball, bro.
it,
Jameis can throw.
Flacco is still under contract, and he's still got to suit up as a quarterback too
Hmm.
with the Bengals every time.
Well,
Same with Winston.
um,
Winston still has to suit up.
so let's maybe think about end of the season. So let's not. So I don't think they have a
Okay.
shot anymore. I think you have a little bit of a glimmer of hope. But
Yeah.
let's look at off season, okay? With the Colts, are they done? Daniel Jones is a free agent. He tore his Achilles.
Yep.
I don't know if he's playing next year, what the case may be on that. What do they do? Do they go back to Anthony Richardson? Do they need to draft somebody? I mean, they're too high
So
to draft a good quarterback. What do
in
they
my
got to do?
opinion, in my opinion, they will pick a quarterback up off of free agency. They'll honestly, probably try and get Flacco. I think that would be a good idea. If
What
Philip
about like a
Rivers,
Kyler?
Kyler Murray might
He's gonna be
want too
available.
much. He might want too much money, though. I think it might be kind
Well,
of
he's
a
not a
little bit
free
of a
agent.
cheaper often or a cheaper option. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. And you never know. Arizona might want to still keep Kyler Murray, but just as a quarterback too. You never know.
I don't think so.
That
No, I think Kyler's gone.
if I mean Kyler Murray might try the market, but I don't think the Colts would be the one to pick him up, to be honest. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to franchise tag Daniel Jones. They'll franchise tag him to see how he comes back and how he looks after that Achilles injury, which is something that I would do. You keep him for another year.
Well,
I
Daniel
wouldn't.
Jones only signed a 1 year contract. That's why he's a free agent. He's done.
Mm,
He- He's done. So there's
damn.
that. Yeah. So Colts are in need of a quarterback. They're too high in the draft order to get a good quarterback like Mendoza or something. So it'll be
Mm,
interesting to see what happens. Maybe they go Winston. Maybe they go Flacco. I think Flacco's probably done. Maybe they try to get Kirk. Who knows at this point what they try to do.
yeah.
There's not very many options out there. But very quickly, I had this whole thing planned out, and then the Eagles lost. But um, do you think the Cowboys can act like realistically? Let's think realistically here. Do you really think the Cowboys can make the playoffs? They do have a 10% chance, but that means they need to
No.
beat um they have to win out and the Eagles can't lose more than 2 games.
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm glad that you and I are on the same page here because homeboy Angel thinks they're going to make the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it refuses to come on the show, but that's neither here nor there. Um My next question is, how good can Jacksonville be in the playoffs? Because they're
Uh,
looking good.
I mean, they're not like conference championship caliber. They're good enough to maybe upset, but I don't
Well, let me
I
name
don't
you the
see them.
team. So there's the Broncos. Do you think they could beat the Broncos? I think they could beat the Broncos.
Yeah, probably.
Can they beat the Patriots? I think that'd be a good game.
Probably not, but it would be a very good
Okay.
game.
Can they beat the Steelers? They can probably beat the
Yeah,
Steelers.
yeah,
Can they beat the Chargers? They can probably beat the
yeah.
Chargers. Can they beat the Bills? If
Ooh,
technically the Bills would be playing away,
ooh. I don't think it
maybe.
matters. I don't think it matters. I don't think it
Mm.
would.
And can they beat the Texans? They probably could. I think those
That's a
games will go
divisional
50-50.
game though,
That's tough.
and that in
50-50.
playoffs.
50-50.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one
Well,
that one's way too
either
close.
way, the Jags won't
Right,
play
right,
the
right, right.
Texans early on if it even happens, or it'd have to
Yeah.
probably be in the championship game. But I think the Jaguars would be lined up to play the Bills currently as it sits.
Ooh, that would suck. I
But it'd
don't
be in
think they'd be
Jacksonville.
able.
So
I don't think they'd be able to beat them.
hmm. Well, I just thought I'd see what your thoughts are. I think they can be pretty good. I think depending on
No, no, and
matchup.
that's fair.
I think because their defense
I
is
think
good.
they're just a couple missing pieces away. The
I
problem
agree.
is though, is Lawrence chokes in playoffs and he chokes towards
Oh,
the
for
end.
sure. For sure.
So
I just think that they have a better chance this year than they have any other year, if
this
that
is a
makes
really
sense.
good year. Yeah, Brian
Yeah.
Thomas Jr.
Because
hasn't really done anything, but Jacoby
he
Myers is
did good last week.
really
Yeah.
coming out though.
Well, in addition to Jacoby Myers helped him out a lot. So,
Oh, a lot. Yeah.
um, the next one I have is there hope for the Vikings with McCarthy? So, I mean, he did well-ish last week, um, but I still feel bad for Justin Jefferson every week. But do they really have hope? I mean, they're probably going to stick with him, but is it even worth anybody going there? Like,
Probably probably give them another year, but if I was them, I'm pretty sure they have at least a top 10 draft pick as of right now, right? They should.
maybe.
But if they do, then personally me, I would take a quarterback. I would I would put McCarthy on the hot seat and just let him know like, "Hey, look, dude, uh it's a business. You're not performing, just so you know."
Hmm.
They would if they knew what they knew now, they never would have let Sam Darnold go.
Or Daniel Jones.
Well, Daniel Jones needed the right system. Washington,
That's fair.
I don't think Minnesota was that system for
Mm.
him, but that was definitely a system for Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold, I don't know, man. Sam Darnold, I don't really think he's a system quarterback because he seems to be doing well in almost every single offense that he goes into.
Well, I mean, he was on the good offense in the 49ers, and then he went to a good QB friendly offense in Minnesota. So the Seahawks, though, is not very QB friendly. So I will give him that.
No, so that's why I'm saying
Um,
I don't know. There might be a little bit more to Sam Darnold than we
well, I
might
mean, dude,
actually
he was on the
realize.
Jets of the Panthers, so I'm not surprised that he did bad. I mean, no one. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
look
that's
at
fair.
David Carr. David Carr was on the Texans. Imagine if David Carr had a better shot and
Oh,
a better team.
dude, he would have done amazing, no question,
I mean,
no question.
right. Imagine if Derek would have played on the San Francisco 49ers with a good line and didn't get hurt. I mean, you never know. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
unfortunately those are the things. But on to other things besides the local boys here. The Bengals gave
Mhm.
the Bills a run for their money. In your opinion, I mean, I know it doesn't matter now, but hypothetically, do you think the Bengals would have been a strong Super Bowl candidate this year if Burrow was healthy all year? Seeing their team now.
I I want to say yes, but the problem with them, whenever I think about them, is just a weak secondary. Their defense
Mm,
just they're the same with the Bills. Like, I mean, the Bills have more issues than honestly the Bengals do, but it's just their defense, man. Like they should be doing the moves that the Colts were doing, like getting Sauce Gardner and like just
mm.
giving up big things to do what they could do. So I don't know. Their defense just always worries me. So that's my only concern.
So I agree. I think if Trey Hendrickson was uh, healthy, then I think I would have felt better about it. But I think
Yeah.
they are better than the Steelers and they are better than the Ravens this year, even if Trey Hendrickson was out with Burrow there. I think they could have done well based on matchup. I think playing the Bills would have been interesting for him, or playing the Patriots would have been interesting for him.
Yeah.
I think they could have beat any of the other teams though. The next one I got is the Saints beat the Bucks. So should we start panicking? Now is the time to panic. Week 15,
Yes.
Baker's not playing good. It's time to panic, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
100% it's time to panic. Good. That sprain, I think, is a little bit more than's being let on. Same thing
Mhm.
with we're starting to see it a little bit more, and it even got brought to light that a lot of people were saying that it was malpractice that happened to Daniel Jones. So with Daniel Jones's injury, he then started leaning, and you could see it even in his gameplay. He started leaning on his I believe it was his left leg that had the injury. So he started leaning on his right leg, and if it is, then it's just simply the other way around. Doesn't derive from my point being that he started putting weight on the other side. That is the side that he tore his Achilles on.
Mm.
So it even got brought up where they felt like it was malpractice, that they were making Daniel Jones, they were clearing him when he shouldn't have been cleared.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it seems to be a little bit of a prominent thing. That's why I get worried with, Herbert's hand injury, with all of these random little injuries that come up, because I mean that ends up costing you a season. So,
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to Baker's shoulder injury, dude, he's not throwing the same. He doesn't feel confident. He seems almost like irritated and bugged when he's in the pocket. So he just doesn't have that confidence, as if something is wrong. So
Mm.
personally,
Yeah.
me, I mean, I get it. You're trying to make playoffs. I get it. You're trying to do this and that. Bro, save your franchise quarterback. Just let him rest.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. This season showed a lot of great things. It showed a lot of your young talent. Just let it go. It's good. It's fine. I think realistically, if I was a Bucks fan, I would not be upset. I'd be like, no, dude, save our quarterback. 100%. There's always next year. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think for fantasy, you definitely don't want to start Baker
No,
Mayfield, but I
no,
think
definitely not.
as a Niners fan though, like anticipating that he gets hurt or is not playing good, I hope we hit that fifth seed because I'd rather play them than
Yeah.
play the Eagles or whoever ends up in the third
Yeah.
spot personally. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. We still got a few more weeks. The next one, I think I already know your answers, so you can say it quickly and I'll just kind of say what I got to say. But Lamar played better and went above projections. So does Zay Flowers.
Mhm.
Is it safe to start him now?
No.
And what about Flowers? So I know
No.
earlier you had said no, um, and I'm not trying to talk for you, but you already kind of said it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for
No, I'm
me,
I'm good.
yeah. So for me, I would say yes. So I think it's situational. If you went all in on Lamar and Zay Flowers and you have the duo and you
Right.
literally don't have anybody else and Tyler Shuck is the best quarterback available on your waiver,
Yeah.
then you have to do it. I think Cincinnati is not a good defense right now. It's a favorable matchup. And you just gotta hope that Lamar can string it together like he did last week. Um, but I will say that moving forward as he continues getting older and older, it might you don't be surprised if he starts not being the number one or number two guy picked up in fantasy anymore because all these injuries are going to start adding on to him. And I don't know. I just, when it comes to running quarterbacks, they don't last long, man. So,
Yeah.
um, next, are the Steelers going to win the AFC North? Now I ask that because before they're like, no, it's going to be the Ravens or blah, blah, blah. Well, they beat the Ravens. I got a
Yeah.
lunch bet riding on this. That's really why it is. It's for me. This is me being selfish here.
This is
The
my
Steelers,
take.
the Steelers are 66% current chance. The Ravens
Yeah.
are 33. So, um, I mean, are we comfortable? Are we comfortable with that now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, this is kind of a fun one, a little thinker, a little bit. What do you think the Broncos record will be heading into playoffs? So they're currently 11-2, pretty
Yeah.
good, number one seed.
Yeah.
But they play the Packers, the Jags, the Chiefs, and the Chargers. Oof, talk about a schedule, dude.
Packers, I think they win. What was the next
Oh,
one?
okay. Jags.
I think they lose.
Hmm. Chiefs.
I think they win.
You think they beat the Chiefs?
Yeah. Chiefs are in shambles.
What about the Chargers?
I think they lose.
So you think they go 2-2 and they'll go 13-3?
Yeah.
13-4?
13-4. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think they go 11-6 heading into
Really?
Yeah, I think Packers beat them this week.
Wow.
I think the Jags can beat them because they're playing better. The Chiefs, I think are gonna have to try their best to get into the playoffs because they're still slim pickings.
Yeah.
So I think they can win, and I think the Chargers they're gonna have to try to win too to stay there where they're at. So
Yeah.
I think the Denver has been very favored by a really easy schedule this year, and they got some wins that I think surprised a lot of us, but I don't think their team is geared to win. Honestly, I think when it comes to these tougher teams, they're gonna have a hard time. Personally, that's just my
Yeah.
personal thoughts.
No,
Um,
I agree.
this is probably for the boy Bebo here. Will the Rams be the number 1 seed after Week 18? So the
Yes.
reason why I ask you is they have to play the Seahawks still. I can
I
actually
think
pull up their schedule for you
I
if you
think they
want.
still handle them. I,
You think
they
so?
have all the reason and all the opportunity to. Let me
Oh,
say
I
that.
agree, but they also find a reason to lose 2 games that they should win.
Yes.
Let me look up their schedule here. So they play. Let me scroll down. So they got the Lions this week. They got the Seahawks. They got the Falcons and the Cardinals. So I think they beat the Falcons and the Cardinals,
I
but
think they beat the Falcons and the
it's going to
Cardinals.
depend on the Lions and the Seahawks. I think is the biggest
I
one because
think
if they,
honestly, I think they would lose to the Lions, but I think they beat the Seahawks.
well, as a Niners fan, I'm hoping they go 0-2. So in the next 2 weeks, because if they lose even one game, the Niners become the number 1 seed in the NFC West because of the
Oh my
tiebreakers from against the Seattle Seahawks and the Rams.
crazy.
And the Super Bowl is in SoFi this year. So, you know, you can be hopeful. We can be hopeful.
Yeah.
Let me see. All right, I just got a couple more. Packers are now on top of the NFC North. They have the number 2 seed. Do they beat the Bears in 2 weeks? So I infamously predicted that they're going to sweep the Bears. Do
I
you
have
think they
no
can beat the
reason
Bears in 2
I have
weeks?
no reason not to doubt you right now.
Okay. How good are the Packers right now compared to other NFL playoff teams? That's across both AFC and NFC.
I think they're middle of the pack. Get it?
Okay. So do you
Middle of the
think
pack.
yeah, I see what you did there. So like Rams, do you think they can beat the Rams?
No.
Okay. Do you think they can beat the Eagles?
No.
The Bucks?
Yes.
Seahawks?
No.
Niners?
Yes.
You shut your filthy whore mouth. Absolutely not. You know the 49ers own Green Bay every year. That's how it is. The Bears. Yeah, they can beat the Bears.
Yeah.
What about the Texans?
Ooh. I'm gonna say no. I think
I think
that's
they beat the
I think
Texans.
that's the upset one.
Bills?
No.
I think that's tough. Chargers?
Yeah.
Steelers? Jaguars?
Yeah. I
I think
wanna say
so.
yes. I wanna say yes.
Patriots?
No.
It just depends. We don't know yet who have they really played.
I agree, but it's a Vrabel team, dude.
Well, and then Broncos. Well, I guess we're gonna
Trust me,
find out
I
this week, won't we?
believe me, dude. In the past episodes, I was the one that brought up that that the Patriots had an easy schedule. But
Yeah. I think the Patriots are it's gonna be interesting. I will say that.
fair enough.
Let's see. I got a couple more. This is a fun one. We've kind of talked about it a little bit. Is the Chiefs dynasty over? I will just say bluntly, yes, because of Taylor
I
Swift.
agree.
But what do you think?
Bluntly, talking with diehard Chiefs fan, he believes it's time for a complete overhaul. He said it's time to go rebuild. Kick Kelsey
Does
out.
that mean get rid of Mahomes?
No,
Or no?
no, keep
Okay.
Mahomes, but get rid of Kelsey. Start getting rid of defensive players. He's even talking coaching changes. I'm like, whoa,
Oh,
let's
that's
calm down.
wild. That's wild.
And he's like, the problem is these good coaches end up falling into bad habits and then they can't get out of them. And I was like, ooh, that's a bold statement. He's like, keep our defensive coordinators, Spags. And he was like, let everybody
You
else
can't get
go.
rid of Cheeseburger Andy, bro. Come on now. That's the GOAT, dude.
I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting
The
situation.
Chiefs can be fixed very easily. I think with the tight end, yeah, Travis needs to either be all in or all out. And I think that's where we're kind of seeing it there. They
Yeah,
just need to go out and get a number 1 receiver, dude.
I
Very
agree.
simple.
I
Go out and
agree.
get a number 1 guy. Go get Justin Jefferson. Go
I
get some
thought
of these guys
Rasheed
that are on bad
Rice
teams.
was their number one.
Well, he is, but he needs help. I mean, look at Cowboys, Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, you got two number ones.
Such a good duo.
Look at Devontae and Puka, two number ones. I mean, you got to go out there and go.
And
Imagine if
Jamar
they had
Chase.
Tyreek Hill still before he got hurt. Imagine you got T. Higgins. Imagine you get even
Waddle.
maybe not
Even
Stephon.
Waddle would be good.
Waddle would be fine, but you need to go out there and go get a number one guy.
Yeah.
Go get a guy. And with their record, they could probably go get a good young number one guy.
Yeah.
So just something to think about. A couple more. Should we be concerned about the Eagles heading into playoffs?
Yes.
Do you think they can?
Is the problem?
Do you think they can make the NFC Championship game?
I think they can get that far, but they're not Super Bowl.
As of today, they would have to play the Niners.
They could be,
which I don't anticipate that'll be happening. They'll probably have to play the Seahawks. Right. Can they beat the Seahawks?
Ooh, I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
Yeah, I don't. I think that they just need to start feeding Saquon more and running that offense through them again, and that's the only way they're going to win. They can't rely on Jalen Hurts because they didn't do it last year and they won the Super Bowl. So, do the Chargers have a chance in the playoffs this year?
They're such a weird team, dude. They are the most
I'm gonna say no.
Weirdest team. I want to say no, but watch them just light the world up.
I think they can be very streaky. I just think with Herbert's hand injury, Omarion Hampton barely coming back, old Keenan Allen, their receivers are not really getting things going. Their tight end hasn't been good. I just think that maybe next year, as they get more experience, maybe get some better defensive players, get more healthy, I think they'd be better.
Yeah, I agree.
The last one, we got to do it at the end every single time because it's our favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So some background for the audience. Xavier and Hayden, or X and H as they go by, have been beefing in our Discord. This isn't a plug for Discord. It's just letting you guys know it's very unfiltered, very raw in there. And they're basically rage baiting each other in this Discord chat over the Browns and Titans game, the America's Boo Boo game of the year. And
hey, but that was the Super Bowl to some people.
Yeah, for you and him, freaking terrible. Who cares? It's like, who cares? You guys are both in the last place. Cool. So we have to always ask a Shedeur question. He's going to be on maybe next week or the week after. I don't remember. Okay. He's in finals, so he's finishing up his stuff. But I
know he'll be.
So we do these questions for him. Oh, he's for sure. He's probably our number one listener. So did Shedeur Sanders just make himself the Browns franchise quarterback with a performance against the Titans? So I just want to remind you, hold on. I want to remind you, Sanders went 23 for 42 with 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3 carries for 29 yards and a touchdown.
Yep.
Another quarterback hasn't done that since Joe Burrow in their rookie year. And he was the number 2 overall quarterback this week. And I just want to say my piece before I let you go out and start cutting out. I'm not glazing Shedeur. I'm just calling the facts. He played very well. Yeah. I do think personally he is the Browns franchise quarterback because it's not Deshaun Watson and it's not freaking Dylan Gabriel. He is the starter for the rest of the season, which I think is absolutely fair. I think that should have happened anyways. Give him and Dylan Gabriel the same amount of games. Obviously he's better than Dylan Gabriel at this point. That's not the surprise. I think most people knew that. But I know X isn't necessarily going to be answering, is he the Browns franchise quarterback? Because I think universally, I think people are like, yeah, as of right now, he's the only hope. But I think X in this moment wants to address Hayden. So,
no. So,
that's not where we're going there. Oh, okay.
No. We're not.
Picked up off a different vibe. Okay.
No,
you're saving that for a couple weeks. Got it.
No, I gotta wait for the boy to get here, and then
okay.
I'll start dropping cold hard facts. I'll make the boy cry. I don't want to do that, but he's gonna make it happen.
It's great for content. It's fine.
Exactly. It's all out of fun. It's all out of love. I get passionate about things just as I expect other people to get passionate about things. At the end of the day, you get the Discord, right? You look on there, you look back at our conversation. At the end of the day, what's happening is Browns fans are backing their quarterback. That's what's happening. Titans fans are backing their quarterback. So at the end of the day, it's like watching 2 hobos fight over a T-bone steak. Nobody cares. They just do it for entertainment value. It's essentially dance, monkey, dance. That's kind of what the Titans and Browns game was. as Rod pointed out earlier, nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Throwing 2 turds against a wall. Nobody cares. At the end of the day, we're both just protecting our quarterbacks. The reason why Browns arguments, right? Yes, they are excited because they believe that they found a franchise quarterback. Awesome. I'm happy for you. Can't wait to watch that shit burn, but that's a whole nother segment. But at the end of the day, they're hyped up. They found a quarterback. This quarterback is breathing life into their organization. Nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. I mean, yeah, he did it against the 24th ranked defense, against one of the worst teams in the NFL. But, hey, you got to look for the silver lining anywhere you can. Where Titans fans are going to defend Cam Ward because Cam Ward had 2 touchdowns, looked pretty sound against the number 2 ranked defense with nothing but rookie wide receivers, a young team, and a crappy O-line. So we as Titans fan, we're like, dude, Cam Ward did great against the number 2 overall defense. I'm totally for that. Now, as far as, I already addressed, yes, the Browns believe that Shedeur Sanders. Do I personally believe that Shedeur Sanders is the franchise quarterback for the Browns? You know what? I will say this. I do agree that their head coach needs to be fired. 100%.
Yeah, second and
that
third.
needs to happen.
Absolutely.
Nonetheless, too, everybody wants to talk this and that about Cam Ward. Oh, Shedeur Sanders is better. Since Cam Ward has been in the NFL, he's already had 2 offensive coordinators. And he had to learn that halfway through the season. Lost his head coach halfway, not even halfway through the seasons, really. Lost his head coach 5 games in. First year in the NFL, and that's what you're doing. That's what's happening. What do you expect to happen? Come on, dude. There's going to be growing pains. It happens. It is what it is. Cam Ward, in my belief, if you put him on the Browns, he would be better than Shedeur, in my opinion. Now, at the same time, do I think that the Browns offensive coordinator is conspiring against Shedeur Sanders? No. That's stupid. That's a dumb argument, which is why a lot of people will be like, oh, well, it's a coaching problem of why Shedeur wasn't playing and this and that, blah, 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 blah. And now they're trying to make him look bad. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's a horrible argument. Please don't ever use that argument. Because if you do, your credibility in my mind is literally 0. So please don't use that argument. But at the end of the day, I think Browns fans are excited. They have something to be excited about. Just as Titans fans are excited about Cam Ward. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Cam Ward is still better than Shedeur. I don't care what you say. Shedeur just makes it look better.
In the words of Cam Ward, I will say I think both quarterbacks are ass. So, as an outsider's perspective,
you're probably right.
I do, though. The question I will say, and I'm not going to have Xavier answer this, but I'm going to save it. I'm going to say it so it's stewing, and then when Xavier and Hayden are both here together, they can answer the question. Career-wise, who's going to have a better career, Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders?
I do want to point out, I did actually enjoy. I think Shedeur Sanders is actually growing, 100%, because he got asked a trap question. Oh, how did you feel when you got taken out by your head coach and blah 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 on the last play? Why didn't he put the ball in your hands? And he goes, bro, that's not I don't care. Essentially, that's what he said. I don't care. I trust my coaching staff. It is what it is. And I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was a great response. I was like, holy crap. This boy might be learning. You could teach a new dog new tricks.
An old dog new trick.
No, he's not an old dog.
He's getting media trained. Yeah, well, he's getting media trained. So,
and you know what? If he is, good enough. It's better than what he was doing.
That's pretty standard when you go into any kind of professional.
Oh, no, for sure.
Sit down with you and teach you how to talk to the media.
Oh, 100%.
All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. That really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Started posting to Twitter now, finally. Also, you can join our membership program, 99 cents until February. It'll be 99 cents a month. You have access to our Legend tier, which gives you access to everything behind the scenes, early access to shorts, early access to videos, access to our Discord, which you'll hear X and Hayden cat out over stuff. A lot of the community members will cat out other stuff. You get fantasy football advice. There's different tabs. There's gaming tabs. There's football, basketball, baseball, MMA, boxing. Everything that's going on in Encinas Unfiltered related will be there. Or you can visit our website, www.encinasunfiltered.com. We're going to be working on the merch getting integrated into YouTube. This is just a reminder. Also a reminder that week 15 of Fantasy Royale is still live. $1,000 bounty is live. So go out there, do it. It takes 30 seconds. Share it with your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, your cat, your dog, your sister, whatever. Anybody who is over the age of 18, they can play. Check it out. Thanks for sticking around. And until next time, everybody. Peace.
Later.